Hello, and welcome back to the True Crime Lounge. My name is Breezy, and here we talk murder and crime. Um, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about finishing up with our Killer Couples playlist series. Now I do have an announcement to make based on this. I will say this. This is the YouTube to my podcast, which you can find on Spotify and YouTube. Um, I do have an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter you can go and check out, as well as a merch shop. Um, where you can go and get out all your true crime accessories you need. I have purses on there, bags on there, long sleeves, sweaters, hoodies, you name it, it's probably on there. I also do have one pertaining to October that I think you might enjoy. It's True Crime Lounge Halloween Edition, as I like to call it. Anyway, I also have a Patreon you can go check out. By doing that, um you'll get access to episodes a day early. You know, and then day early, that are scheduled for our new season, for season 2 of the True Crime Lounge podcast that is coming out when we'll focus on criminals of the Wild West. Now, I also have another announcement to make on this. After completing my playlist, I have chosen 5 cases from this playlist to talk about. Um, I'm not gonna say which ones because I want the artist surprise on here, but you can also be on the lookout for that. I'm not sure when. I'm gonna get to it right now. I'm in the middle of a new mini series. It's called Spooky Season because it's just a perfect time for that. I think honestly, but this one's gonna be a little bit longer because I'm finishing up and it's a little bit more than 7 left. But anyway, let's dive into the True Crime Lounge, shall we? Our first one we have Henry Lee Lucas and Otto Toole, aka the Confession Killers. In 1976, Lucas and Toole, two men who were abused by their mothers and forced to dress up like little girls, started a relationship after bonding with over their childhood abuse. Soon after they discovered their relationship for the blood, began raping, torturing, and killing innocent victims together. The two later separated and were apprehended separately for their crimes. Both Lucas and Toole confessed to killing to hundreds of murders, of but only 36 victims were confirmed respectively. Lucas and Toole were both sentenced to life in prison and died in prison in 2001 and 1986 respectively. So, number 16 we have Deborah Brown and Alton Coleman. In 1983, Alton Coleman was a convicted sex offender when he met Deborah Brown. In 1984, on the eve of the trial for raping 14-year-old Coleman and Brown, went on the run. On the course of over 53 days, they will kill 8 victims, commit 7 rapes, kidnapped 3 victims, and carried out 14 armed robberies through 6 states in the Midwest. Coleman was sentenced to death and died by lethal injection in 2003, and Brown was sentenced to life in prison. Number 17 is Caril Ann Fugate and Charles Starkwater. In 1956, 13-year-old Caril Ann Fugate began a relationship with 18-year-old Charles Starkwater. So, that was 1956, my bad. So in 1958, Starkwater murdered Fugate's mother, stepfather, and 2-year-old sister. Almost kind of like Romeo and Juliet killing. But I can't remember if that's the one of the ones I have selected or not. But anyway, after that, Fugate and Starkwater went on a spree and killed 10 people. Once apprehended, they were both convicted in murder. Starkwater was sentenced to death and died by electric chair in 1959. And Fugate was sentenced to life in prison, paroled in 1976. So, that leads us to number 18 on our list. Cindy Hendy, and that has been just a poor choice of naming. It really had to been Cindy Hendy. Imagine that being your name growing up. Anyway, Cindy Hendy and David Parker Ray were known as the Toy Box Killer. So in the 1950s, Ray began his killings and life of crime against women, though he didn't meet Hendy until 1997 in Truthful Consequences, New Mexico. I must look up the backstory behind why they decided to name the town that. I really must. Imagine saying that. Hey, where you from? Oh, I'm from Truthful Consequences. You're being serious, right? Anyway, over the next couple of years, Hendy helped abduct 25 women that Ray brought back to his toy box, a soundproof trailer, outfitted with sexual torture devices where he raped, mutilated, and drugged, his murder victims. In 1999, they were both apprehended and Ray was sentenced to 224 years in prison. But he died in 2002 of a heart attack. And Hendy was sentenced 36 years but was paroled in 2019. I wonder. I have to look it up now. Anyway, next, number 19, we have Fred and Rosemary West. In 1969, 15-year-old Rosemary met 27-year-old Fred West, and the couple soon got married. How is that even legal? How? Just how? That's just sick right there. So not long after, the two began abducting and killing young women looking for lodging. Of at least 13 victims, 3 of them were their own children, and crimes include rape, torture, kidnapping, and murder. They were apprehended in 1994. Fred West committed suicide while awaiting a trial in 1995, and Rosemary West was sentenced to life in prison. Number 20 on our list is Carol Bundy and Doug Clark, aka the Sunset Strip Killers. So, in 1980s, Doug would meet Carol after murdering and defiling the dead bodies of 2 teenagers. After Clark informed Bundy of his preservations, the two went on a killing spree and killed a minimum of 2 people, but was suspected of more. After the rape and murder of their victims, Clark would decapitate their heads and Bundy would preserve them for later use. They were apprehended in 1983 and found guilty. Clark was sentenced to death and still on death row. Bundy was sentenced to life in prison and died of heart failure in 2003. I wonder if she's in relation to Ted. Anyway, and last on our list we have Cynthia Kaufman and James and Gregory Marlowe. In 1986, Kaufman met James Marlowe shortly after he was released from prison. After the couple married, they went on to rape and kill women before their apprehension. Both Kaufman and Marlowe were found guilty, sentenced to death. Kaufman became the first woman to enter death row since California reinstated capital punishment in 1977. Alright, that is it for today's episode. I will see y'all next time, and I hope y'all have a great day.